Hello everyone. In this video, we will discuss about salient issues in UK economy like inflation, pound decline, foreign aid, defense, windfall tax, fuel and heating, and increasing taxes. UK consumer price inflation is at 10.1%. Increasing food, transport, and energy prices were the biggest contributing factors to inflation. Consumer costs for housing and utilities increased due to a surge in cost of electricity, gas, and home fuels. Rishi Sunak feels it is the inflation which is causing the slowing of economy, and UK need to get a grip on inflation before any tax cuts. Sunak has advocated tough measures to control inflation by tightening government spending and tax hike. He will have to be mindful of the slowdown as excessive tightening may lead to a recession. Persistently high inflation will actually stagnate growth. The UK needs supply side reforms. Surging inflation tells us that demand side stimulus is a spent force. The British economy is already experiencing a slowdown with some indicators pointing at a recession as high inflation chokes off consumer spending. Higher inflation reduces the real value of government's outstanding debt while increasing the tax burden on capital investment due to lack of inflation indexing. Now we will discuss about windfall tax. British Petroleum registered profits of 7.5 billion pounds, which is significantly higher. It is expected to pay 700 million pounds in windfall tax, which were earlier introduced by Rishi Sunak. The windfall tax was promised to redistribute to households and businesses in the form of cost of living support. But due to loopholes which provided tax breaks in return for investments such as drilling oil, the Energy Profits Levy seems to miss out on vital revenues. Shell has made more than 26 billion pounds in net income since the start of the year, but still hasn't paid a single penny in additional tax from the levy in the UK. Instead of channeling all of their profits into productive investments, energy companies have transferred most of their extra cash straight into shareholders in the form of dividends and buybacks. Closing tax loopholes would redirect more of British Petroleum and Shell's bumper profits from shareholders to struggling households. The British pound is depreciating rapidly, weakening its purchasing power and driving up inflation. The pound at $1.0327 during September 2022 was at its lowest since Britain went decimal in 1971, as the belief in UK's economic management and assets evaporated. The jump in the cost of imported energy and others is adding to the United Kingdom's current account deficit, which is pushing the pound down. The strength of US dollar is also causing the decline in pound. Impact of pounds falling is likely to increase the country's exports and is negative for imports. The British pound has long been suffering due to the political decisions being taken in the UK. We will now discuss about increase in taxes. As reported in media, it's being quoted as saying that everybody will need to contribute more in tax if public services are to be maintained. It is widely believed that instead of increases in the rates of income tax, the Treasury is more likely to focus on methods like freezing income tax thresholds for another 2 years, which will move people into higher tax bands. Also, the government may bring more people into the higher 40% rate of tax. Also, 50 billion pounds fiscal black hole in public finances needs to be filled through tax increases and spending cuts. Some other points being discussed are lowering the threshold for dividend tax relief. raising capital gains thresholds in line with income tax thresholds. Let's see what Jeremy Hunt, the Finance Minister of UK, has to say.
We're all going to be paying a bit more tax, I'm afraid, Sophie. But it's not just going to be bad news. I think what people recognise is that if you want to give people confidence about the future, you have to be honest about the present and you have to have a plan. And this will be a plan to help bring down inflation, help control high energy prices, the rising cost of bills, energy prices going up. And so we will outline a plan to hold down the rises in energy prices.
Now we will discuss foreign aid from UK's perspective. According to media reports, Rishi Sunak is considering freezing the country's foreign aid budget for an additional 2 years. Since the country faced a hit to the public finances due to COVID pandemic, Britain now spends 0.5% of national income on foreign aid, which was earlier 0.7%. The, the UK aid budget is around 11 billion pounds, with about 4 billion going to multilateral institutions including the World Bank. Of the remaining 7 billion pounds, which is administered by the UK directly, more than half will be spent domestically in 2022, which includes about 3 billion on housing refugees. Now we will discuss about the defense. In UK, the defense spending had been set to rise to 3% of GDP by 2030, a key pledge to boost defense spending. But Chancellor Jeremy Hunt refuses make that comment. Ben Wallace recently said that previous pledges to spend 3% of national income were only an aspiration and will be taking it budget by budget at the moment. Rishi Sunak has not committed to the 3% figure, which would represent a real term increase of 20 to 25 billion pounds from the current 2.1%. In UK, defence used to take up 5% of GDP in mid-80s. Britain has already committed to spend 2.3 billion pounds on military aid for the Ukraine in 2023. Ben Wallace said, I recognize that the whole of government is facing the challenge of inflation and we need to get through the next 2 years for the growth. Fuel and heating. People in UK are struggling with high energy and transport costs. The energy bill will be capped at £2,500 annually until next April 2023. This energy price guarantee, as per the Jeremy Hunt, will be for 6 months instead of 2 years. 2 years was initially proposed by Liz Truss. According to leading forecasters, the annual average energy bill will rise to more than £400 from April when the current price cap ends. Why prices in UK of gas prices are rising than the European Union average even when the country imports a small percentage of its gas from Russia? The reason is UK relies more heavily on gas than its neighboring Europeans because it has less renewable and nuclear energy. Besides this, UK does not have much capacity to store, due to which it is forced to buy on short-term markets where the volatility in prices is greater. For more information on issues like rising cost of food, public finances, migration, and more in UK economy, keep watching our channel and do like, share and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.